like there was paedophiles there, like a paedophile ring there, and I needed to rescue the children. So I felt this connection with this guy and really felt like he had something to do with my destiny being fulfilled in this lifetime. Like they're coming to kill me. It felt like a horror. Looking back now, it felt like a horror movie that I was in and couldn't get out of. No shame. I just felt like I can do whatever I want. It doesn't matter. I'm just actually going to sit here and I'm just going to piss myself. So that's exactly what I did. It rang. He answered the phone and said, look, you better come and get your sister because she's gone crazy. They've showed up here. They're coming to kill me. They're all going to kill me. So I remember being in this guy's bedroom, and for me to counteract the fear that I was feeling, I remember singing some like worship songs that I remembered from church. And at one point I remember him being on his bed and I laid my hands on him and I was basically asking God to come and heal. This is actually what I said. I said, Lord, come and heal this nigger. Come and heal this nigger. Now forgive me, I hate that word, but this is what was going on. And there was just a sense, I just sensed that this guy needed healing and I was able to have the healing flow through me. So yeah, that was before all of the other stuff happened when my friend and my sister actually showed up at his house. That was some of the madness that was going on in his room. And yeah, I just remember singing, come and lay down the burdens you have carried, for in the sanctuary, God is here. I was singing that song and laying my hands on him. Tears were flowing from his eyes. Now this time I'm thinking that they're all involved together on this plot to kill me. So eventually I hear them running up the stairs. So I basically, from the top of the stairs, take a huge jump. And as I go down the stairs, I take out my friend and my sister. And my friend actually took quite a fall and really hurt herself. And one of her crystals that she had on actually smashed to pieces. So, and I'm there and I can't remember, I'm shouting something. And I'm trying to run past my other friends. My sister has a grip on my hair and she's trying to pull me back. But in my mind, they're trying to save me, right? Their whole intention was to come and get me out of this house, okay? But in my mind, they've all come here and they're going to finish me off. So my sister, she tries to pull me back and I'm pulling away from her so hard. I had braids in as well. I'm pulling away from her so hard that one of my braids actually rip out from the root. So I had a bald patch. It might have been here, y'all. Because, you know, my edges ain't as thick as they used to be, y'all. You know, see the patch? I'm sure it was the patch that's right there. That explains it, actually. Because I'm thinking, but when did that? And now it makes sense. It's from when my sister ripped out my ear. But anyway, she was trying to save me. She was actually trying to save me. So that's why I must remember that. They were trying to save me. But in my mind, my reality had changed. My mind was telling me that these people were all in it together to kill me. So I managed to run outside and they follow after me. Not the guy, I'm not sure what happened to him. He must have stayed at his house. But my friends, there was about 3 friends and my sister coming to get me. And outside was when I started to get aggressive. You know, they were coming after me and I remember running away from them and then going onto the drive of this house that had pebbles on their drive. And I remember picking up some of them pebbles and basically starting to throw it at them. I'm throwing it and I'm telling them I'm swearing, I'm shouting, get away from me. At one point I remember running and I feel like I'm running so fast that I feel like I could take off. And I say to myself, fly, fly. Because remember in the previous video, I said that I felt like at one point I was Spider-Man. Another point I felt like I was Catwoman. I felt like I was a superhero at this time who was able to fly. So I'm commanding myself to fly. But Jessie ain't flying nowhere, okay? So then I can remember, this is a significant part now that always makes me question, God, what did I mean when I said this? What did I mean? What's taken over me? Who was I channeling? Who was speaking through me? Who was it, or what was it? Because at this point now, I remember, and this is when I don't remember my friends and my sister being around. I was in the middle of the road and I shouted out from the top of my lungs, I am here to uproot the seeds of wickedness and lay down foundations of righteousness. And if you're with me, then come. And if you're not, then get out! Right? That's what I remember. That is a clear memory that I have of me saying. And so up to this day, I ask God, what on earth was I on about? What did it mean? Who was speaking through me? What was speaking through me? Why did I say that? There's so much that just still doesn't make sense to me. There's so much. And this is why that experience that happened 6 years ago is still affecting my mind today. I have so many questions. I have so much confusion. And I just feel like no matter how much I feel like I'm moving forward, I always come back to the place where I feel stuck. Because there's parts of me that just wants to understand why, what happened. There's a huge part of me that just wants to make sense of it all. And I can't make sense of it all. So this is why I want to talk about it, because I feel like there's going to be some healing that is going to be taking place. I feel like strongholds are going to be broken. And I just want to be free. I want to be free to live my life and move forward. Even if I don't get the answers, I just want to be able to close that book and start my new chapter, my new life. Just moving forward, you know. So, because Jessie was getting aggressive, my friends, my sister, they had to call the police. They had to call the police. I was now becoming a danger and a threat to other people and myself, because I'm running in the road. I'm running on people's drives, you know. So they called the police, and I remember this police van showing up, and I'm having a conversation basically before they handcuffed me. I remember sitting on the pavement, and the one guy who I said reminded me of Jesus, he felt like a good guy, you know. He was giving me Jesus energy. And I remember looking into his eyes and saying to him something about him being like a character in the Bible. I think it was Paul. You know, I said, you were like Paul or Peter in the Bible. And I don't remember what he was saying back to me. But I remember the other cop who I felt was just not a good person. I really felt like this other cop was not a good person. When they showed up, when they started to come towards me, I remember shouting at her. And I think there was another officer with her. I think it was a man and a woman. And then this Jesus guy who was sat down with me. So 3 cops in total, I believe. And just sensing like either one of them, the woman or both of them, they just weren't good people. That's just the vibe. I mean, I could be wrong, because remember, my whole reality had been altered. You know, there were voices that were lying to me, so they could have been decent people, but for some reason I just felt like they're not good at all. So when they start coming towards me, I start shouting at them, and I must have been swearing, and that was when they had to handcuff me, and we basically struggled to get me into the van, because I'm there with my feet up, my hands be on my back, and I'm just trying to stop myself from getting in there or being pushed in there by them. And they eventually got me in, and I'm in the back of the van, and I'm feeling like, oh my God, I can get out of these cuffs. And I'm there, like, obviously my hands be on my back, and I'm feeling like my hands are gonna come out. They're gonna come out, but they didn't. So yeah, I think I spoke about me actually getting into Wootton Lawn, and there was no room. There was no rooms available, so I stayed in a waiting room until the morning. And that was when I was transported to Chelmsford. But I remember before I left Gloucester to go to Chelmsford, I would just remember feeling like, where are my girls? Because whilst all that mad stuff was going on, I had lost any memory of my children. I didn't think once about my children whilst all that stuff was going on. And that is really worrying. That is so concerning. That goes to show the level of mental illness I'd gotten to. A place where I had no memory. I had no memory of my 2 daughters. And that's really worrying. and scary, in fact. But at the same time, it also shows like the level that I'd gone to where I am now, you know, not 100% back to normal, but I'm able to talk about it now. And I have memory. Obviously, there's certain things still that I don't remember that are taken place. So I remember before going into the van, there was 2 workers that came up to me and said, you know, we don't have any rooms here, so we're going to transport you over to a mental home in Chelmsford. And that's when I remember asking them, are my girls okay? And this anxiety had came upon me where I felt like somebody has taken my girls and sacrificed them at Robbinswood Hill. I know, it sounds awful. It sounds awful, but these are the lies that were being told to me. And those lies produced fear and anxiety. And I believed them. I believed those thoughts, you know. I believed them. And they looked at me and said, yeah, they're fine. And they said that I'll be able to speak to them later. So I can remember speaking to my mum on the phone as well, actually, before leaving to go to Chelmsford. And I asked her, I said, Mum, are the girls okay? Are the girls okay? And she was like, yes, Jess, they're fine. They're with me. They're fine. And even as she's telling me that, I'm feeling like, nah, this is all a cover-up. They're all working together. Something's happened to my girls. They're all working together. They're going to take me to this home now, and then they're going to break the news to me that something has happened to my girls. Again, those were lies that I believed. Lies. Oh, my Lord Jesus. I'm telling you, it's crazy because I believed so many things that were false. Another thing that I believed was that there were cameras everywhere. And this is one of the things that still affects me today because I feel like I am being watched 24/7. I really feel that. And that actually started to happen when I was in the home in Chelmsford. Actually, even back in the guy's house, I can remember, whilst I was talking about Will Smith and other celebrities and Donald Trump, I remember feeling like I'm saying all these things and I'm being recorded. There's cameras around and I'm saying, but I don't know what I was saying exactly. So that feeling of just being watched, it kind of came from that whole experience that I had, and it's kind of stayed with me. And sometimes it still really gets to me, you know. I feel like, oh my God, why am I being watched? But I look, and there's no cameras. Where are the cameras? If you're being watched, where are the cameras, girl? You know. So this psychosis, it's had an effect, a lasting effect on me. It's had a lasting effect, and there's maybe parts of my brain that got damaged. I mean, that's something that I do want to look into, is how psychosis episodes affect the brain physically, you know. What damage is done to the nerves, you know, what actually takes place. This is something I need to research, I feel, actually. I need to, because I just want to understand more about it. I want to understand, like, why does it affect? Why does it alter your reality? How does it alter your reality? In what way? What actually takes place physically? Because I believe that it's a spiritual thing, it's a physical thing. You know, like I said, at the time I was smoking a lot of weed, I was drinking red wine. That was my drink back in the day. I used to love my red wine. And I wasn't eating like I used to eat. You know, I was a vegan. You know, I'd gone on a fast for 7 days. So my system was very clear and able to just absorb all these other things. I opened up myself to spirits, demons, I believe. And it's just taken it took an effect on me that actually still is lasted up to this very day. So I would love to research more about how the psychosis actually affects the brain physically. But anyway, going down to Chelmsford now, I remember on the way there, so I'm in the back of an ambulance van, there's 2 male drivers, and I remember just feeling kind of at peace with what was taking place. And I get to this home and it looks beautiful. It's just like, oh my God, this is a mental home? Nah, they've taken me on holiday, man. This is a nice resort. Look at it. They'd show me my room and I have an ensuite, and the staff were just lovely. They really looked after me. They were lovely, and there were other people there with mental illnesses, and it was just a lovely place to be for me. It was actually where I needed to be. We stepped out of the marriage and cheated on my husband, my then husband. You know, I cannot live with this guilt. I have to tell him, I need to keep it real and be honest with him. We're few other confessions I had to make to other people. Like there's something that's trying to get in me, and I was like almost like from this direction, like come in through my head and come into me. Oh, like something's trying to come into me. Something's trying to come into me.